Hello everyone. Today we're going to be looking at extending my current REST API framework called Expressive, which is basically built on ExpressJS. So I put in a bunch of conventions and base classes and stuff like that in it. So you can check out the GitHub and NPM links. I'll provide those in the description. So what we're going to do today is try to implement a feature for checking duplicate URLs, which I don't think Express currently has. It just picks out the first one it finds in sort of the pipeline. Since Expressive implements sort of a recursive registering for all the routes, what we're going to need to be doing is, so like after all the routes are registered, then we have to kind of check and go through an array of routes and see if there are any duplicate URLs. Okay, so let's get into it. So first we can check out the Express app class and see where the routes are actually registered. So I know this says register routes, but it does a bunch of other stuff. So we'll have to fix that at some point. Although this is an internal function either way. So register routes here actually does the registering. So let's take a look at this particular function. So what we're doing here is, as you can see, this.express.use is registering a base path with an express router. So this is kind of like where all of that, all of the paths are being registered. So we're using something called the router factory, which takes the expressive router. Now this router is actually the router that we build for Expressive. So this is all configuration basically, including like which path, which method, what validator it's going to use, what controller it's going to use. So it has a bunch of configurations. So you pass this into this router factory's function, and you actually get back an express router, which you then register in Express. So what we're going to be doing is, like, when we actually have this router, we can actually check. Somehow we should be able to check what paths exist in this router before registering in Express. And then if we find any duplicates, we can probably throw an error or something like that. Okay, so let's see if we have a way. I think we already do. We have a way to like get all of the unique paths that are registered for this expressive router. So let's look at the router factory, or route util actually. So for the route util class, we already have this function, get routes info. So you pass in the expressive router. You won't really be using these classes. These are all internal, so which is fine. So get routes info takes a router. Let's see if we're using this anywhere else. Let's search for this in the project. So we're actually using this in Swagger. Okay, so when we're actually building out the Swagger doc, we're using this to get the list of information or list of routes. So we can do something similar in the Express app class. So let's do that here. So before we register, and let's look at how we can do this. This dot route util. I think we have that. So this is the route list. So let's. It's probably not used. That's why it's red. Okay, so let's console log this, and this will log immediately after you start the application. So let's log that and see what's going on here. So I'm just going to hit npm run dev. Okay, well, what's going on here? Oh, that's right. This is this dot router actually. Sorry, my bad. This dot router. Okay, so let's see. Oh, all right. Okay, so cool. We actually have now have like a list of all the different paths there are. So what we want to do is like get all these unique paths, right? So let's get that. So route list, and now we want to do like, let's say path list is our route list dot map our dot path. Yeah. So probably put parentheses around this. Yeah. So now what we want to do is like just take a look at the path here. Path list, right? Okay, so what we want to do is like check if we have the same URL and also the same method, right? Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so in order to do that, we already have the list of routes. So all we need to do is maybe we can make like a string using the method and the route, and maybe we can take out sort of the last slash so that they're all sort of similar, or all the URLs will be consistent. It won't really have a slash at the end. Like this one doesn't, and this one does. So maybe we just take care of that here. Okay, yeah, I think we can do that. So let's see path strings, or maybe we could just like declare like a function here is duplicate, check duplicates, has duplicate URLs, right? So and we already have the router here, so let's just take this over here. Okay, so now we have the route list, which is basically the list of routes, route information. I mean, so what we can do now is just get URL strings, I guess, which we can map from the route list. Map. Let's say call it an R. What we want to do is actually provide a string for the method r.method, right? Yeah, method is get. So let's do an r.method, and then we'll do a space. And then now we'll have to trim the actual string, right? If the path is path contains a slash at the end. So now I'm going to say if r.carb at let's say path.length -1. So if the last one is backslash, and then what I want to do is actually let me make this into a function so this is cleaner. Let's take this out and make it a function. So what we're trying to do is build out return a string. So I'm just gonna like take this logic elsewhere. So let's call this the sanitized path, right? So if the path has a forward slash at the end, we want to replace this, right? So r.path.substring 0, and then like path.length -1. Otherwise, we want the r.path. Should be it. So, and then we're just gonna give in the sanitized path. Here. So we're not really returning anything, so we're gonna return the URL strings. Actually, we haven't really done everything yet. So now let's log this actually, and then let's use this function here in the register route. Yep, okay, so this should actually automatically print those out. Oh, interesting. Oh, this dot has duplicate URLs. So let's run that and see what happens. Path is not defined. Oh, of course. Let's just, you know what, go ahead and destructure this into like path and method. Alright, so now we have a list of all the actual routes, including the root one, which is not really showing up here, but for our purposes, this still works. So we're getting a list of sanitized URLs, which is fine. So all we need to do now is check for duplicates. Okay, so like one way I know how to do that. Okay, so first let's put in a duplicate route. So we already have this here. Let's put another one of these here. Let's do another one where we do like another hello, another world. Right? So when we print this out, it'll see we're seeing 2 get hellos right now, right? So this shouldn't happen. This should throw an error. So what we're going to do is check for duplicate URLs in this list of strings, right? Okay, so one way to do that is duplicates. Let's do a filter, URL strings.filter. We want to filter it by the item and then index. We want to filter it only if this index of doesn't match, right? So like item, let's say URL strings.index of item is not equal to the actual index, which means that like if I search for the item at some point and it's not in if the index doesn't match the index that it's iterating, it's going to be a duplicate, right? So you show up with the same item twice, you're going to hit this particular logic, and then you're going to end up with some duplicates here. So I'm going to print this duplicates now. should only print the hello. Let's try that. Okay, see, so now we're printing out a get hello, which is basically the duplicate. Now all we can do is return the length of this. So we can check has duplicate URL. So we want this to return true if there are duplicates, which means we're going to return a boolean with duplicates.length. Duplicates.length. Yep. So now what I want to do is I want to check this, right? So if this dot has duplicates is true, then I want to throw an error. Duplicate URLs. In fact, do I even want to yes, actually, I want to let people know what the duplicates are, so I kind of want to just return the duplicates array. Actually, I think which would make sense, right? So get duplicate URLs is probably a more fitting name for this function now. So let's call this dupes or duplicate URLs. Just call that. And then what we can do is check if duplicate URLs.length is greater than 0, then we want to throw a new error, and then we can construct a message, which would be useful, like a useful message, right? Which is probably what we all want when we're developing stuff, and why we make this stuff anyway. So let me just do duplicate URLs cannot exist. Duplicate URLs, duplicate endpoints detected. And then I'm just going to print that out. Yep. Let's print out duplicate URLs dot join by, let's say, comma and space. So it's going to print that out. So let's see what happens now. Awesome. So duplicate endpoints detected, get hello. So now we definitely know that there is a path that's duplicated, and we want to remove this. So let's go ahead and remove this one. Alright, so let's see what happens now. Sweet. Okay, so now it's not throwing an error. Alright, I think that's the end of the what we wanted to do. So I want to see if this works on different levels. So if I declare a route in a subroute, let's say in the example we have the hello router, which is sort of nested, right? So this is a nested route, which is actually this slash actually is a hello slash hello at the root from the root. So if you go to the root router, so this subroute slash hello slash root. So let's try duplicating this from this root level, which means that I'm going to declare another route for get and then hello here. So and then I'm just going to declare a function for this one. It's not really going to do much. It's going to log stuff. Duplicate function. So this should immediately throw an error. Perfect. Let's try. How about hey? Okay. Yep. So it looks like it's working the way we want. So it doesn't matter whether you declare something on the top or whether you declare it in a subrouter. It's still detecting the duplicate endpoint. Great. So this is exactly what we want. All right. So the next step for this is let's see if that still works. Okay. Sanity check. Nice. So the next steps would be to write some unit tests. I'm not really going to cover that in this video, but I think this is what we wanted for now. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.